Hello again, everybody, and welcome to yet another somber Northside 9 right here on 4-Star Chicago Sports. I've been feeling it, and I think we might have somebody else who agrees with me finally. It's looking like a lost year, and I think we're going to talk selling this roster today because what other options do we have? What an embarrassment yesterday. We're going to get into it right after this.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars align. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot-town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the Southside parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
Yeah, you hit that one. That was a good batting practice day for those San Francisco Giants at Wrigley Field. And let's be honest, it's hot, it's humid. It's another day to pump balls out of Wrigley Field today. Hopefully that doesn't happen because we got our newfound ace, Ben Brown, on the hill. So I have a feeling it's going to be tough for those Giants. But will the bats get going? That's another question. Kyle, how you doing, brother?
Personally, I'm all right, Sean. As a Cubs fan, miserable.
Well, if I may, I'm going to go on a little tirade here because, this team went from 7-9 to 27-12 to 33-31. There's been a lot of ups and downs, I guess you want to say, this season, but I don't know that there was a point, maybe during that hot streak, that I was a little fooled by this team and thought maybe they were a little bit better, but before I absolutely snap, we got 98 games left. We're 6.5 games back in the NL Central, 1 game back in the wild card. But we talked last week right here on this show, on this channel, that this is a 15-game soft stretch for the Cubs to get right? Stack some wins, remind everyone they're a serious baseball team. Instead, they started the stretch at 1-3. They're not turning a corner. They look more like a post-trade deadline team than they do a team fighting for a playoff spot. And let's be honest. I know, Kyle, you feel this. Erica, you feel this. Scott, you feel this. That was an abomination. That was an embarrassment. You score 4 runs in the ninth last night after stealing a win, carrying some momentum against a team coming into your building 13 games under 500. For the love of Christ. And it gets even worse. You manage 4 singles while giving up 17 hits and 5 home runs against a pitcher by the name of Robbie Ray, who's 0-5 on the road with a 6 earned run average. So what did the Cubs do? They made him look like prime Nolan Ryan yesterday on the hill, mowing him down left and right. The Cubs have now allowed 95 home runs this season. That's most in baseball. They have a -23 home run differential, which is tied with the Rockies' worst in baseball. At some goddamn point, excuses have to stop. You have to cut people, fire people, shake up this roster somehow. I don't know how you do that because this version of Cubs baseball is completely unacceptable on every freaking level that we can possibly think of. It's an absolute joke. You sit here, you look at this rotation, Kyle. We have a $63 million rotation. And what does this rotation? Look at these earned run averages on this damn rotation. It's unbelievably bad. A 499, a 513, a 459, a 6, a 474. And this goes back to the point from last week. You have $107 million of wasted talent, 35 to Bregman, 8 to Maton, who just came to the Cubs and decided to suck. Dansby Swanson, good thing he got that hit in the ninth against the A's, because that's the only good thing this guy's done in a month. You got Shota, who has returned to Shota, fooled me in the first 4 months. I apologize to Cubs Nation because I thought this guy was returning back to his form from the first season with the Cubs. That's obviously wrong. You got Jamison Tyon in the last year of his deal, blowing $17 million in this rotation right now. And since May 9th, you're the worst goddamn team in baseball in almost every statistical category. So, Kyle, I'm going to ask you, man, what do we do? Where do we go? Because we do have some trade pieces on this team. Do you still have faith that this team can turn it around, that this team could make the playoffs, that this team can make a run at the Brewers? Or as the thumbnail says, is this just a lost season for the Chicago Cubs? Because, Jesus Christ, this guy, this clown right here set up this roster, set up this rotation with a bunch of fly ball pitchers at Wrigley Field and signed as 3 Gold Glovers in the infield. So let's not get ground ball pitchers. Let's get fly ball pitchers and keep the ball away from the Gold Glovers. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot to take in there. I mean, Sean, at this point, I mean, first and foremost, we keep on saying that, maybe this guy will turn a corner, maybe this guy will get better, maybe this. I mean, how long can you wait? You're at a point now where you're pretty much rock beat bottom, right? I mean, you just lost one of the worst teams in baseball. The team has been one of the worst teams in baseball, 18-3. I mean, that's pretty much. I think that's rock beat bottom. Cabrera is clearly not the pitcher that the Cubs thought he was going to be, the pitcher that the Cubs convinced us he's going to be. And the reason that they did that is, once again, and Scott, to his credit, has been saying this since the day I met him, what the Cubs do is they go cheap bargain shopping. That's what they do. They're like, oh, we'll trade Owen Casey for the second best pitcher on this team. And if we get him here, we can make him better than the second best pitcher on this team. We can make him a real true number 2 in the rotation. He's not that. That's not what he is. He's not good. Cabrera is a 4 or 5 at best. They didn't want to spend money. They had opportunity. How many pitchers were available in free agency last year? Don't see. Goes on and on and on and on. We could talk about it all day. And the Cubs don't want to spend money. They don't. They pick Cabrera because he's cheap and he had team control. Here's the problem, Cubs. He's not good. That's the problem. Is he's not good. And we keep on waiting for somebody in this lineup to wake up and put this team on their back and carry him. We thought maybe it'd be Alex Bregman because that's the guy that the Cubs have been chasing for the last 3 years. Jed Hoyer's continuously said over and over and over again, I want Bregman. Well, you got Bregman, and he's a 250 hitter. I mean, to be honest with you, Sean, even if I didn't want to fire sale, even if I didn't want to get every single player on this team out of here and try to get something back on the farm system, I mean, try to save this season in some way, shape, or form. There's nobody here to fix this. There's no way to fix it. You can't fix it. The Cubs don't have some guy they don't have a Connor Griffin in their minor leagues. They don't have anything down there to bring up here and make them all of a sudden they're like a championship caliber team. At the end of the day, what happened to the Cubs is, Sean, you said it best. When they lost Cade Horton, we were like, oh, that's it. This season's over. That's it. You just lost your best pitcher. And Justin Steele, we have no idea what we're going to get from him. And then he had the setback in his recovery process. And we were like, it's all going to fall off the rails now. And then they fooled us with a little 10-game win streak action there after Cade Horton went down. And we're like, man, maybe these guys here, Imanaga, maybe these guys can kind of carry the load until maybe Justin Steele gets back, or maybe you bring Jackson Wiggins up. But at the end of the day, guys, it was just a matter of time before all those pitching injuries bit him in the ass, and it finally did. I mean, not only are they dealing with a ton of injuries, when you talk about Justin Steele, Jackson Wiggins, guys that maybe could come here and help, they're not available because they're hurt. But the guys we have here are not good. They're just not good, man. Outside of Colin Ray and Ben Brown, this pitching staff is probably the worst pitching staff in all of baseball.
Yeah, and when you think about it, and Kyle, you're going to love this because I think you're going to maybe applaud the statement that I'm about to make here. But I know they made the playoffs last year, one game, couple outs away from going to the NLCS to face the Dodgers in Chavez Ravine. But it's starting to look like the Craig Counsell era of the Chicago Cubs might go down as one of the worst of all time. Overpaid, underachieving losers, owned by the Brewers. It's become pathetic. There's no identity to this team. They don't hit home runs. They don't have a killer bullpen. They don't steal bases. They don't have a collection of young, exciting players outside of PCA. We're getting a little glimpse of Alcantara and Ramirez right now, having rough starts like most young kids do when they come up to the major leagues. And I don't want to forget about Mo Baller because Mo Baller is still a young, energetic player. So maybe they do have a few exciting but flawed young players at this point, but they don't have a dominant rotation. And maybe to your point, maybe that's because Cade Horton's gone, Justin Steele's gone,
Jackson Wiggins could have come up here and been something. We don't know because he's gone.
Yeah, and I mean, we always talk about when we talk about the Bears. What's the identity of this football team? what's the identity of this baseball team? Who are they? Like, and to Erica's point here, you're right. They're laughing in the dugout. You're being humiliated on your home field. I don't know what you're laughing in the dugout about, because nothing that I saw yesterday on that baseball field was anything that I, as a fan, would be laughing at. I'm pissed. I'm pissed as a guy who buys their, merchandise and shit. I support this team. This is humiliating, dude. This is embarrassing. And Craig Counsell, is he out of answers? I mean, you tell me, man. I don't know.
Well, listen, and Sean, you said we talked about this yesterday on the phone. I agree with you. Jed Hoyer is definitely the downfall of the Chicago Cubs, no doubt about it. Because he's spending money. The problem is, guys, he's paying the wrong people. It's that simple. I mean, you paid a 33-year-old Alex Bregman, hoping you'd get the 40 home run MVP of 8 years ago. That's just not the case. We're seeing right now, Sean, is the downfall of Alex Bregman. We're watching the end of his career, and unfortunately, he's got a long time here for us to watch it. But listen, guys, Craig is not innocent by any means necessary. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that the Cubs, Sean, you've been saying this for a long time. The Cubs are not as good as I thought, and you were right, and I was wrong. But at the same time, what happened to Seiya Suzuki? What happened to Michael Busch? They got two guys who hit over 30 home runs last year.
Yeah.
PCA. What happened? Where did they go? They're all just gone. No, these guys just don't exist anymore. Alex Bregman, a 40 home run season, 30 home run season, gets here, he can't hit. Dansby Swanson, who we thought was like, he's a career 250 hitter. Now all of a sudden he's hitting 180 on the like. I'm not saying that the players here were capable of winning World Series, which I thought at one point I was fooled. I thought they could. I thought this lineup was good enough, because even though this lineup wasn't good at one thing in particular, I thought they were dangerous from 1 to 9. I'm like, well, they can all hit. So you got to be careful with this Cubs lineup. But here's the problem, Sean. Somewhere along the line, they all forgot how to hit. I have no idea. I can't explain it. I mean, listen, it'd be one thing if these were prospects and they were telling us, hey, these guys are really good at one point, and they just continue to falter over and over again. We've seen 30 home runs from Michael Busch. We've seen a ton of home runs from Suzuki. We've seen a ton of home runs from Alex Bregman. We've seen Nico Horner hit 300 throughout the entirety of a season. Where did that go? Where did all of that go? That has to fall on the manager, right? Somehow, somewhere, some shape, some form. These guys just aren't motivated. Like they are almost like you just said, Sean. They're laughing in the dugout when they're getting bent over in their own stadium by one of the worst teams. At the end of the day, something in this organization went wrong somewhere. I don't know if it's Craig Counsell. I don't know if it's the hitting and pitching coaches. I don't know what's going. I don't know if it's just Jed Hoyer. Maybe people he walks around the building and they just don't like him. They're like, I want out of Chicago. I don't know what it is, man. But like I said, it'd be one thing if we never saw any success from these guys and they kept telling us they were good. Like the same situation the White Sox were in a couple of years ago when it was Moncada and Eloy Jimenez and all. Like the fact of the matter is those guys just weren't very good, right? But they were all prospects, so nobody knew. It was like a big question mark. We've seen every single player on this Cubs team be very good at the plate. Every single one of them throughout their career have had moments where they've been looked very good at the plate. And all of a sudden, all 9 of them at the same time just disappear off the face of the earth. That is leadership. That's management. That's management. Sean, you think at least one guy in this lineup, one guy would be like, I don't give a shit if these guys all suck. I'm going to go out there and be me and do what I do every single day because I'm the man.
Well, as you say that, don't you think that's kind of what PCA is kind of doing?
I mean, you guys, and Sean, you and I have been saying this since day one. PCA is young. He's going to struggle. You're seeing PCA struggles. But if you look at PCA overall, like since he started for the Cubs, since he became a full-time player on this roster, I think PCA is a star. I don't think he's a superstar. I don't think he's Aaron Judge. I don't think that he's Juan Soto. I don't think that he's Ohtani. But I think he's one of the best players in baseball. And I think he's top 10. And if he continues to do what he does, and this team can somehow get out of some of these contracts, maybe trade Dansby Swanson. I know it's crazy because they just paid him, but maybe just see if you could trade Alex Bregman. If they can somehow do that, you could certainly build this team around a 24-year-old Crow-Armstrong, who to me looks like he's every bit as advertised. I think he's going to end up being, listen, you guys, just based off of the defense, the base running alone, he's already one of the best players in baseball. If he can be above average at the plate, just above average, he doesn't have to be like the best hitter in all of baseball. If he could be above average at the plate, you're talking about one of the best players in baseball. So he's certainly something you can build this team around. The problem, Sean, is you've already committed. Horner's paid. Swanson's paid. Bregman's paid. They're all paid.
Where do
you do now? What do you do now? Even if we did have 10 guys in the farm system, guys, say we had 10 guys in the farm system that we all loved. And Sean, there are certainly some guys down there that you and I like. I like Hartshorn a lot. I like Ethan Conrad a lot. Pedro Ramirez and Kevin Alcantara. That the jury's not out. You've talked about Jefferson Rojas a million times. I think at some point that guy's probably going to be really, really, really good. But here's the problem, Sean. Where do they go? Where are you going to put them?
No spot.
We have 7 DHs.
I mean,
7 bench players.
This is kind of why I made this clown thing of Jed Hoyer, because this is a clown show, man. This is a clown show. Like what he
paid
did,
the wrong guys. He paid the wrong guys. Even
so, when he definitely paid the wrong pitchers, because when you build a defense of Gold Glover at third, Gold Glover at short, Gold Glover at second, and not a Gold Glover at first, but a pretty damn good one. Then you have a Gold Glover in left. The PCA win a Gold Glove last year? I can't remember.
Yes,
he did. So
he was second. He almost won the platinum. He got beat out by Tatis.
So you got 5 Gold Glovers on defense, and 3 of them reside in your infield. And you think the wise decision was to sign fly ball pitchers? Again, needs to be some accountability here. And this is where Tom Ricketts needs to step in, and Tom Ricketts needs to start rolling heads, because if he's just happy with the tills turning and the guys coming out to Wrigley to get drunk and the fans, still packing the ballpark and being embarrassed at home, well, then there's a bigger problem, because winning baseball in Chicago shouldn't just be reserved for the South Side, because it certainly looks like that team has done it right. Like we've talked about here over the past couple of years, right here on the Northside 9, that the White Sox were coming. The White Sox were coming, and you know how much I hate that team, but you can't deny they've done it right. Their young stars were groomed, and their young stars learned up at the major league level last year, and now they're just bringing them up in waves. And, this is kind of what I thought when you start looking at it.
Everybody. Every team is, except for the Cubs.
Every team does it. The Pirates did it. The Reds did it. The Cardinals are doing it right now. And here we are.
The Royals, all the teams that have had any stint of success over the last 3 years. You talk about the Orioles and their good season. That was all their young kids who made that season happy. You talk about the Royals and their success they've had. I know obviously some of these teams are up and down, up and down. It's not a finished product by any means necessary, but the success that those teams we're talking about have found, a little bit of success that they've, outside of the Dodgers and Yankees who just buy everybody, outside of those two teams, which they're always going to do, that's never going to change. But outside of that, every other team, you talk about the Rays, Tampa, every other one of these teams that's finding success here and there, these are all on the backs of these young kids. And here's the Cubs, like, well, we'll pay Alex Bregman. Do me a favor, Erica, Scott, if you're still in the house, Breaking News, Bruce, Sean, explain to me right now, how all this money you spent on Bregman, give me 3 facets of his game in which are an upgrade over Matt Shaw.
Right now, man,
nothing.
I don't know.
Matt Shaw's a better fielder. Matt Shaw's younger. He's faster. He's a better defense. He's better at defense at third base. He looked great last year, and it was his first year ever doing it. Imagine what he would look like in 2 or 3 years. He would maybe one of the best defensive short or third baseman in all of baseball. He's a better hitter. He's got a higher average than Alex Bregman. So let me get this straight. You were so quick to push Matt Shaw off at third base. Be like, well, we need that Alex Bregman. We need that guy. We need him. So quick to get Matt Shaw out of there so that you could get a shittier player for more money.
Right.
That's a miss. That's a swing and a miss. And guys, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about how poorly Jed Hoyer has done everything. In the last 5 years, Sean and I broke it down. Sean went through every single Cubs draft over the last 5 years. Pitching. That's all we've drafted. Not one of them is capable of making it here. And why? I'm glad, Eric. I'm glad you brought up Assad. Listen, is Assad the best pitcher in the world? Absolutely not. Of course not. He's the guy who you use in a pinch when you have to deal with a bunch of injuries. How did Wicks get starts over him? In what way, shape, or form is Wicks better than Javier Assad?
Another technical error by the Cubs, because look.
What's up, Parker?
Yeah, Parker, man. I haven't seen you here before. Welcome to the show, man. I really appreciate you checking us out.
Yeah, and I agree 100%, Parker. You paid Bregman on the wrong side of the. You paid a guy because you wanted what he did in his past. You're not paying somebody for what they did. You're paying them for what they're going to do for you. So a 33-year-old Alex Bregman is not going to be a 40 home run hitter. And listen, I don't even think Alex Bregman has been terrible by any means necessary. I think he's overshadowed. His lack of production is overshadowed by his celebrity status. I think if it was like a prospect we brought up and he had the same exact numbers as Bregman, you'd be kind of satisfied with it. The problem is that was the guy. That's the star. That's the guy who's like, you have your Aaron Judge, you got your Ohtani, you got your Soto, you got your Yelich. That was supposed to be ours. You guys got Alex Bregman. Yeah, he's not that good, guys. At 32 years old, he's not that good. He's just
and you want to know what's funny, Kyle, is right now, he has a career OPS of 838, which is very solid for a player through 61, 62 games in right now. He's got a OPS of 694. Major league average in 2026 is 711. And it's gotten this bad where the A's pitched around Michael Busch so they could face Alex Bregman. Did you see that the other day?
Yeah.
They pitched around Busch to get to Bregman. Your $35 million signing. They're like, yeah, we're going to face that guy because when you look at it, the Cubs now have 4 of the bottom 26 qualified hitters with runners in scoring position led by Suzuki, which we talked about, a major league worst 123. No other team has more than 2 in the bottom 26. So when we talk about this whole Craig Counsell thing, you start thinking, man, he won't break up 2-3-4 or 3-4-5. And then you look, he did it against the A's, and seemingly they scored 7 runs. Now it took to the 9th inning to get to that point, but it worked.
Yeah, Bregman was the only out. Everybody else was great that inning, except for the guy you just paid $100 and whatever million to. Sean, this is Jed Hoyer. It's unbelievable to me. Please, in the chat, correct me if you think I'm wrong. You signed a bunch of really good fastball hitters in the last couple of years in which the fastball is being used less than it ever has been in the history of baseball. These guys, listen, the velocity is going up. Yes, sure. They're pitching 102, 103 miles an hour, but the usage of the fastball is going down. You need guys who can hit off speed stuff, breaking balls, anything. These guys can't do it. And at the same time, Sean, you talked about this earlier. You signed a bunch of fly ball pitchers to pitch at Wrigley Field when the wind's blowing out. Almost everything gets out of that park. And on top of that, you signed a bunch of guys who were in 2026, where basically half the league now is throwing triple digits. And here we are, in our entire lineup, fastball averages like 91 miles an hour. Like, how does it take this team so long to adjust to Major League Baseball? Guys, the sport is passing them by. Craig Counsell coaches like this is 1956. He's like, well, I got my lineup set for the year. I got Happen Suzuki in the cleanup spots, so that has to stay all year. We cannot change that because this is how baseball's worked in the past. If you just leave it, eventually it'll correct itself and these guys will start playing better. Like, no, that's not how it works anymore, Craig, and it's not working. We've been watching it all year. You have the lowest batting average of any team in baseball with runners in scoring position. You know how you adjust that, Sean? If people are the guys who you have up in clutch moments aren't getting clutch hits, then you change the guy in the clutch moment and see if somebody else can do it. But he's not doing it. He's just putting that same shit out there every day. And he's like, one of these days, it's just going to change. I'm going to wake up and everybody in this lineup is going to hit 400. Like, Craig, that is not how it works. You need to change it. You're the boss.
Yep. And I'll tell you, Kyle, we talked about this too, the anomaly of hitting isn't necessarily the issue because the Cubs lead baseball with putting runners in scoring position. But it's like Superman with kryptonite. As soon as that happens, it happened in the first inning. They had what was it? The last game against Oakland. The last game against Oakland. They had the bases loaded and no outs, and they don't score a run. I think it was bases loaded. It was either second and third. It was something like that. I can't remember. It's all starting to jumble together because it's failure after failure after failure. And the thing that baffles my mind is you took one day against Oakland. You win 7-6, score the most runs you've scored since they had that one output where they scored 10 or 12 a few days back. you go back to the same lineup against the Giants in game 1. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You had success with this. You put 7 runs on the board. They rallied around this lineup, and you go back to the same lineup that failed you. You manage 4 singles.
The same lineup that gave you a 10-game losing streak, man. Listen, if it was like a 5-game losing streak, I'd be like, hey, man, maybe they're just having a little bit of a bump in the road and they'll get back to it. But like 10 games is like telling Craig, like, Craig, this doesn't work. Like that is a big sample size. That's a big enough sample size to be like, hey, Craig, this does not work. And somehow this guy still cannot figure out. It makes absolutely no sense. It drives me insane. And David, thank you so much for joining the show.
Yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
if you've ever been here before, but welcome to the Northside 9 here, man. Obviously, we're frustrated talking about the Cubs here. Yep. That's for you, David. I mean, Sean, yeah, I mean, when you're talking about a team that in this year had 2 10-game winning streaks, how do you go from a team that has 2 10-game win streaks to a team that seems like they cannot do anything?
Can't figure out anything, dude. And I'll tell you, Kyle, one of the things that has been
hitting is bad. The pitching, everything is bad.
The one thing that to me is one thing that I thought was foolproof on this team, and I brought this up, I think 2-3 weeks ago when Alex Pat was on the show, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around it and trying to figure out what happened to what I feel is, one of the most sure guys in this lineup, and Nico Hoerner. And, it's hard to say, but the last 27 games since he was hit by that pitch, look at what's happened to him. Now, again, I don't know if there's a correlation here, but I don't know what else to correlate to it. To say before that, he was one of the best players in baseball, but since getting smacked in the head in San Diego, this is what he's done. Talk me through it. Like,
for me personally, I don't think there's a correlation. And Sean, it's certainly a fair point to bring up, and it's definitely something worth watching for sure. I think Nico is I think there's something going on personally with Nico. Maybe an injury, maybe that back and neck stiff. Remember that happened right around the same time. Remember that, right? Before he got hit in the head, he was pulled out of the game because he had stiffness in his shoulders and his back. I think it's just something that, and you guys, that's another problem with the baseball season. Once you get one of these nagging injuries, there's never any break. You never get. I mean, if he is hurting, whether they like it or not, I don't know who they have. I guess Pedro Ramirez would be your second baseman, but if he's hurting that bad, you got to send him down. You got to put him down for 2 weeks and be like, Nico, obviously this injury, you're not the same guy when you're hurt, when this neck stiffness is bothering you. You're obviously not the same guy. You got to sit down, man. I know you want to play through it. I know you love baseball. I know you don't want to miss any time, but at the end of the day, you're not helping us. You're hitting 198. That's not helping us. We'd much rather sit you down for 2 weeks and have a healthy Nico Hoerner. The problem, Sean, is that should have happened a month ago.
Right.
It doesn't matter anymore now. It's now if you sit Nico, you're going to have to go on another 8-game losing streak, and you're out of it. So it doesn't matter. But for me personally, just because the way his reaction was when he got hit in the head, he almost like played it off jokingly. He like pretended he was Uzi. It hit that C guard that perfectly, like that, exactly the way it's that thing's supposed to be used, exactly what it's there for. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think either Nico's dealing with a nagging injury or he's just going through it, man. He's just going through it, man. I don't know. Because Sean, of all the guys we've talked about on this podcast, all the Cubs, you could talk about all the pitchers, all the relief guys, everybody. If the one guy you have faith to turn it around, is it not Nico Hoerner? Like, I expect by the end of the season, Nico Hoerner to be close to that 300 batting average. Do you not agree?
I expect Nico to turn.
He's always been that guy. He's you guys. I don't know if you noticed or not, but Sean, you talked about this a lot last year with Kyle Tucker. You showed the numbers of Kyle Tucker when he was hitting well. The Cubs are hitting well. When he's not, Nico Hoerner's that guy now. When Nico's playing like this, the Cubs suck. They're dog shit.
You want to know, Kyle, and I don't know if you've noticed this. I'm sure you have because you're a very observant individual. He's just swinging at pitches you don't normally see him swing at. He's reaching, popping balls up. He's usually a line drive hitter, but he's hitting balls straight up in the air. It's so weird what's happened to Nico Hoerner over this past month.
Well, and I think as he goes, they go. If the downfall of Nico Hoerner is the downfall of the Chicago Cubs, and they're all pressing. they're all pressing and they can't get out of it. They can't get their head. Sean, we talked about this with Michael Bush early in the season. Like, you could see it, right? When Michael Bush was struggling early in the season, you could see it on his face. It was written on. Now you could see it on all of their faces. You could see it on all of them. They are so frustrated. The only guy that looks like he's still going out there and playing baseball and having fun, like when he was a kid, is Pete Crow-Armstrong. And I think that's who Pete Crow-Armstrong is. I think Pete Crow-Armstrong just loves baseball. I think he just loves playing baseball. The rest of these guys look like they're thinking of this as a job. And right now they're not doing very good at their job, where PCA is like, hey man, I just like playing the game baseball. I just want to go out and play baseball. I don't care about the money. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. I just want to play baseball. The rest of these guys, like Craig, needs to sit every single one of these guys down one by one, which he's not going to do. You guys, I don't expect this to change in any way, shape, or form. I mean, Sean, you talk about since the All-Star break last year, this is the Cubs. This is who they are. This is their identity. You asked, do they have identity? Yeah, their identity is the streakiest team in the history of baseball.
They're 68 and 61 since the All-Star break last year, coming up into maybe 68 and 62 after yesterday. But you're 6 games over 500, and it's not a sample size anymore. This is who you are. And when you start talking about managers and, talking about Craig Counsell and paying him all this money per year, making him the highest paid manager in baseball, well, he is the most conventional manager in baseball. And unfortunately for us, it seems as though he stays conventional. To me, he needs to inherit that Ben Johnson type. It's time to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable and shake it up. And look, I don't need the Lou Piniella, rah, screaming at everyone. I don't need that. But you do need to see some fire.
You need to be motivating. That's your job. As a coach or a manager, your job is to be the motivator. That is your job, to keep these guys interested, keep these guys invested, make sure they're going out there and having fun, playing baseball, not just like they're all so stiff. And you know what, Sean, attitude reflects leadership. Does he not look stiff? Craig Counsell looks miserable.
He looks terrible.
Miserable.
He does. It's
looks
on his face.
Miserable, dude. He looks.
He's always doing this, rubbing his fingers through his hair, putting his head down in the dugout.
He looks like he doesn't want to be there. He looks 100%. He looks like he does not want to be in that Cubs dugout. And I love what Mike says here. I think they really dropped the ball firing Ross, because you guys, I think you had one of the most.
Kyle, to be fair to Kyle here, he's said this for a long period of time. He's not just saying this now through this drought. He's been on this, and I've been on the other side. Like, I'll trust Counsell. He had success with the Brewers, and now I'm watching thinking, man, Pat Murphy's a better manager than Craig Counsell.
Well, you know what sucks is I didn't like the hiring of Craig Counsell, but I didn't mind the Cubs saying like, hey, we like David Ross a lot, but we're going to get the best of the best of the best everywhere we can, because we're a winning championship caliber team. I didn't mind them being aggressive and making a move like that. I just thought it was the wrong guy. And to be honest with you guys, by all accounts, David Ross is one of the most respected, beloved people in all of baseball. Like, and everybody in baseball, when they talk about David Ross, are like, that guy is absolutely the man. He's the man. He's junior high school, maybe close today. He's the player's coach. He's the guy that in the dugout, everybody loves him. They all want to play for him. They all want to do good for him. I think you had something very special there in David Ross, a guy who just so happened to finish his career in Chicago, and you got the first crack at him as a manager. And he took a team with Frank Schwindel and Patrick Wisdom as your corner infielders and went 500. I'm like, I think that's a pretty good effort by David Ross to get this team to finish 500. And what did he get for it? He got fired. For what? Tell me what David Ross did that deserved termination. Nothing, man. They gave him a dog shit baseball team. He finished 500, which I thought was personally, I'm like, that's kind of impressive. He finished 500 with this pile of shit. And they're like, all right, take it easy, David Ross. Yeah. Thanks for all your service. You were a World Series Game 7 hero. You were one of the best, considered one of the best defensive catchers in all of baseball. Defensive catchers always make good managers. We've seen it in baseball 1,000 times. I thought it kind of fell into their lap, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. The Cubs might have found something special here, and it just kind of fell in their lap. Like, David Ross just loves his organization, and he wants to be a part of it, and he's willing to be the manager here. And what the Cubs do? They fired him. They said, don't let the door hit in the ass on the way out. And they went and hired Craig Counsell, a guy who had one of the best pitching staffs in the entire world. And bullpens. Yeah, from top to bottom. I mean, that team with that pitching staff, it would almost be impossible to have a losing record. the Cubs decided that it was all Craig Counsell. It had nothing to do with any of those badass pitchers. It's just the way that organization is ran. Every single time a guy leaves, they find a guy to take a spot. Like it does. Like they never skipped a beat. And the Cubs made the wrong move. That's what happened. Jed Hoyer picked the wrong guy, just like he picked the wrong third baseman. He's been chasing Alex Bregman for 3 years. This is the guy that you've been telling us for 3 years. If we get him here, things are going to change. If we could somehow get Alex Bregman in the building, this is going to be one of the best teams in baseball. It's just swing and miss. Pardon my pun, guys, but it's just swing and miss and swing and miss and swing and miss and swing and miss by Jed Hoyer.
I'm going to say, hold your breath. Because we can all be frustrated yet again with Craig Counsell, because leading off today is Pete Crow-Armstrong, which I am excited about because Pete seems to be getting very comfortable in that leadoff spot. Yeah, that's going to be followed by Michael Conforto as your DH, followed by Michael Bush, and take a stab in the dark who your 4, 5, and 6 hitters are.
I'm gonna go Nikos Hap Suzuki.
Close. It's Bregman in the cleanup spot. Hap Suzuki.
Where's Nico?
Pedro Ramirez gets the start at second. Nico slides over to short, and Carson Kelly will be doing the catching for newfound ace Ben Brown on the bump tonight. So
what's up, Jimmy? Jimmy,
excuse me.
Jimmy asked if today's lineup's been announced. Sean just gave it to you there, Jimmy. Thanks for joining the show, man. We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, it's again 4, 5, 6 are what 3 of the worst hitters with runners in scoring position. You take Nico Horner out of a winning position and stacking him down. It's like you punish Nico Horner, the picture of consistency, who's had 27 bad games at the plate, but you won't punish anybody else. And I'm very happy. I'm still not happy that we don't get to see enough Kevin Alcantara. I want to see what this kid can do up here. We do get another start out of Pedro Ramirez here at second base today. I'm very happy that Craig's getting him in. Dansby gets the day off. He gets to have a breather. I think personally, Dansby should have 2 or 3 days off.
I think you should have like a week off, man.
Yeah, well,
he at the plate. Oh God, Swanson's bad, man. He's bad, man. Even his hits are like, oops, like they're like accident. We're like, ooh, that came off the bat at 67 miles an hour. How did that find green grass?
What up, Cricket?
I don't know, man. Like these are the 2 guys who are leaving too, right? They're not
right.
They're both free agents at the end of the year. And for some reason, Seiya Suzuki and Ian Happ can do no wrong under Craig Counsell's eyes. He's absolutely enamored with them, infatuated with them, obsessed with them. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen so much loyalty to 2 players who are not part of the future by any means necessary. But if all these young kids in the farm system are going to come up here at some point, you need spots for them, right? So you can't imagine they extend to Happ and Suzuki, 2 guys both in I think they're 30s now. It's like Sean, you said it perfectly. Everybody else on the team, it's like if you're not playing well, I'm gonna sit you down for a couple of days. If you're not playing, I'm gonna sit you down. Happ and Suzuki, you guys can hit 112 with runners in scoring position, and I'm going to leave you in those cleanup spots for the rest of the year.
And you heard him.
It's going to be the downfall of Craig Counsell.
You heard him in the post game against the A's, and granted, Suzuki came through, but he said there's zero chance I couldn't get Suzuki in a bat in this game, and that was the final game against Oakland in the comeback. And he got that base hit, moved the runners along. So I guess you could commend him for that. Suzuki having that little time off during the game to think about it and coming up in a big clutch spot to help the Cubs come from behind. By the way, the 7th come from behind victory leads all of baseball. Again, more anomalies with this Cubs team. They also lead baseball with 9th inning comebacks at 4. It's so crazy. Now, all 7 come from behind victories have been at Wrigley Field. They have been at home. They haven't been on the road, where the Cubs are about to head over the next week, and I can't wait to see how this is going to go. But they can't win on the road. They all of a sudden, after winning 15 games in a row at home, they can't seem to win there either. I'm just bashing my head off the wall here, and I'll be honest. Watching JT Ginn the other day throwing 95-mile-per-hour sinkers and 88-mile-per-hour changeups and absolutely shredding that Cubs lineup. I actually fell asleep. I went to work the next day and put the comeback on my desk and watched it first thing in the morning because, the Cubs put me to sleep. And when I'm driving to work and I'm listening to the score, I'm like, the Cubs came back? What the hell? How did that happen? Did the A's quit? Did they all leave the field?
Well, I don't, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I'm glad that Bruce had this comment here because it's just another thing we could talk about. Sean, he says, I want to see Kevin Alcantara in right field and Suzuki DH. Suzuki had the most success he's ever had in his entire major league career playing DH last year, and just another thing, the Cubs were so quick to put him right back into right field when he had the same struggles when he was playing right field 2 years ago, and it didn't work out. It's just like these are decisions that every decision he's making is not working out, but we can see it. Sean, we talked about how Seiya Suzuki's numbers are much better at DH than they are at right field when he's playing right field. How come Craig can't see that? You can see it. I can see it. It's simple. You go on StatCast and they'll tell you like this. Why they'll give you all the splits. How come Craig Counsell doesn't have a computer in his house? I don't understand.
I want to be honest with you, Kyle. And I mean this right now. We're seeing it again today because they're back in the middle of the lineup. He broke them up for one game that they won. But and this excludes yesterday because I didn't have time to add the stats in from yesterday's game. But going in,
Sean, I don't think you need to add the stats from yesterday.
But going into yesterday's game, Bregman 13 for 67 runners in scoring position, Suzuki 7 for 57, Happ 13 for 67. Going into yesterday's game, that's 33 for 191, a 172 batting average, and then at bats that involve runners standing on third base this year, Bregman is 3 for 26, Happ is 4 for 29, Suzuki is 3 for 28. That's a combined 10 for 80, a 125 batting average. So he's taking him out of the 3-4-5 hole. I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I take him out of 3-4-5 and I make him 4-5-6, that's going to help things. This is so mind-boggling to me that here I can go on to Fangraphs and pull these stats out for a podcast, and I don't even know if Craig Counsell looks at him, dude. I don't even lie to you, dude.
I can't imagine that he does. I can't imagine he does. Sean, what's the definition of insanity?
Right. Doing the same thing
over and over and over and over. And Erica, I told Sean, Sean and I both 3 weeks ago said that Dustin Kelly's going to be the scapegoat at some point with the way this lineup's going. But at this point, I don't think there's anything else these guys could do to get fired. I think these guys are basically could do whatever they want. I don't think anybody's getting fired. I think for Jed Hoyer to fire anybody on this coaching staff, including most importantly Craig Counsell, that would be him admitting that he screwed up badly. That would be him admitting that he missed in every way, shape, or form. And real quick, Jimmy earlier in the chat said, "Hey, maybe see if you can bring David Ross back in here." Jimmy, I don't think that's an option. I think David Ross is done with this organization. I think the way that they let him go, the way they fired him to replace him with Craig Counsell after going 500 with a team that had no business being a winning baseball team, and this should not have gone 500. Just nothing, no talent on the field whatsoever, anywhere from top to bottom. I think he's done. I don't think David Ross will ever be part of this organization again.
The Chicago Cubs, it's coming up here in July. David Ross will be back in Chicago as they will be with Joe Madden, Anthony Rizzo. Who else is going to be there? David Ross. There's a few other Cubs from the 2016 World Championship team. They're going to do a like the podcast they've been doing. They're going to do it live at the Chicago Theater. It's coming up in mid-July. Actually, I was going to see Kyle. Maybe I'm going to look for tickets. I think that would be a lot of fun to go to because we have to remember something that the Cubs were good at, and unfortunately, that was 10 years ago compared to today. So,
I like some of the chat here. Parker says Jed burned that bridge with Ross. I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Parker. I think it's done. I think the relationship is over. Crook Commish says Jed says he's not looking to do anything at the trade deadline. At this point, Antonio, I don't think they should. If anything, they should be selling. They shouldn't be buying anything at the trade deadline.
Kyle, I'm very happy that you said that because I want to run some names past you right now and ask you, and then I'm going to put up. Because the Cubs, the Cubs mentality, Jed Hoyer, we're one game out of the wild card. We're not dead yet. They don't actually look at the team and see where this team is. But if the Cubs do become sellers, which I personally think they should be, you got Holby Milner with a 228 earned run average, Jacob Webb with a 245, Ryan Rollison with a 284, Trent Thornton, the unsung hero of that bullpen so far, with a 198, Caleb Thielbar, Colin Ray, Michael Conforto. Some of these guys, what do you think? Sellers at the deadline, dump these guys and see what you can get and cash in this season? Or do you think the Cubs are going to go the opposite way? And I'm going to put up this because I wanted you to take a look at this because I did my own little top 10 of the minor leagues. Of the minor leagues and what we have coming up down the pipeline, because honestly, and this is my own rankings, Kyle. I forgot to tell you to do to throw a list together. I kind of did it last minute. But out of these guys, and this is how I feel like they're ranked. And I kind of feel like I have Owen Ayers. I kind of wanted to put Owen Ayers where Kane Kepley was, but Kane is having a phenomenal minor league season right now. We all know about Josiah. This kid looks like he's Lance Berkman. Where's this kid at? Sitting at 6'2", 220 pounds, left-handed frame, left-handed hitter, physical frame. His stroke is so sweet. He's the number 8 prospect right now, but since his call up to since he got moved up to South Bend, dude, he's got a 1.321 OPS. This kid is absolutely raking after slashing 273, 424, and 460 at single A. So I'm kind of asking, man, where are we right now? Because do you want any of these guys, whether you have them ranked the same way I do or you don't, but any of these guys on this list, do you want the Cubs to trade any of these players at this point to try and salvage this season? Chat, chime in. Do you want anybody on this list traded to try and salvage this 2026 season?
No, because I think the guys on that list, like Owen Ayers, is the best catcher in this organization. He's better than Carson Kelly, and he's certainly better than Miguel Amaya. Jefferson Rojas is probably one of your best. He's probably better than I'm going to say 90% of this major league team. Jefferson Rojas has the pedigree. Hartshorn looks like he's the real deal for sure. Sean Conrad, I understand he's been hurt and he hasn't.
That's why I had him at 10.
That he hasn't played yet, but I mean, just based off the pedigree, the guys, Conrad has played in wooden bat leagues. He played in the Cape Cod League and he hit like 450. I mean, like he looks like he might end up being. And I listen, Cubs fans are so sick of hearing about the prospects, but Ethan Conrad looks like he might end up being one of the best hitters in all baseball when it's all said and done. I mean, he's been everywhere he's ever gone. He's hit 450 everywhere he's ever gone. He's been absolutely unstoppable at the plate. To me personally, I think you need to look yourself in the mirror if you're the Cubs organization and say, hey, we screwed it up. This is not a championship caliber team. And you need to rely on those names right there on the screen as your championship caliber team. And like you said, Sean, in the meantime, Seiya Suzuki, Ian Happ, Trent Thornton, Colin Ray, see if you can add to that list right there, get some more talent in the farm system, and let's start another. You guys, I think this year would be a 2-year rebuild instead of a 5-year rebuild because all these guys on this list are basically Ayers is major league ready. It won't be long before Hartshorn is major league ready. Alcantara and Ramirez are already here. That list that Sean just showed, most of those guys are going to be major league ready by 2028. I think there's probably going to be a lockout next year. So you're talking about the start of the 2028 season being where most of those guys make their debuts. If I'm the Cubs, I'm going all in on the farm system, man. And real quick, guys, everybody in the chat, Erica, Parker, I know that there has been rumors that Theo Epstein is not happy in Boston, but you guys, honestly, I've been saying this for years. Sean knows this. He'll attest. I think he is the next commissioner of baseball.
Yeah,
I really do. I don't think Theo Epstein's making a lateral move or going down, taking a pay cut to go back and become a manager or anything like that. I think at the end of the day, he's going up. I think that this league is fed up with the current commissioner, and I think Theo Epstein is laying in wait.
And that would be amazing. That job. And as we look at some of these guys, Caleb Wing,
dude, every time I see him, he looks like he's 7 years old, bro.
I know, right? You know, he was drafted by the Cubs in the 4th round, 121st pick of the 2025 June 8th draft out of Scotts Valley High School. He was the standout there. He did sign with the organization for $1.5 million, and you see those stats: 10.1 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 16 Ks, 3 walks, 194 batting average against. I mean, he has absolutely been an absolute stud for the Cubs down in Myrtle Beach. He's going to be flying up through this organization. And don't forget about Mason McGuire. Mason McGuire, yes, Mark McGuire's son, having a phenomenal season, 240 earned run average, along with 44 strikeouts and 30 innings before he was promoted just a few days ago to South Bend as well. He sits at his fastball sits at 94 miles per hour. His last start, he had his fastball sitting at about 94, 95 for about 4 innings. He was mixing it up with a changeup and a little bit of a curveball in there. Mason McGuire, for all intents and purposes, is a guy that is going to be in there. His slider's in the upper 80s. And then his breaker is in the upper 80s as well. And he features that mid 95 mile per hour fastball as well. Mason McGuire is a guy to keep your eye on. And Kane Kepley is absolutely destroying the minor leagues right now as well. And as Kyle said, Owen Ayers is, I should have put him higher on this list, to be perfectly honest.
He might actually be their best prospect. Man.
Yeah. Him and Hartshorn. And
Hartshorn's awesome, and I like Hartshorn a lot. And if you're talking about just the bat, Hartshorn should be their number one prospect. But if you're talking, dude, getting a good defensive catcher who's also good at the plate is just so hard to get. It's so hard to find that just based off of that alone, because by all accounts, he's a very good defensive catcher as well. He's good at throwing pitches. He's good at throwing guys out, and then to have that bat that own, I mean, he's been unbelievable. I mean, it's unstoppable. Sean, the list you just had on the screen.
That should be our future.
That's the savior. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that could save us. This list right here, though. If you have Owen Ayers as your everyday catcher, you have Crow-Armstrong in center field every day. You say Josiah Hartshorn comes up here, you got a spot for him. You talk about these pitchers, Jackson and Sean. Don't forget about Riley Martin. I know he's dealing with an injury, guys, but Riley Martin was great when he was here, and I think he's going to could be a piece of this bullpen for a very long time. Same as Daniel Palencia. Daniel Palencia is certainly not old by any means necessary. I think he's still got a long career ahead of him. You should be building around these young guys and starting to push the Alex Bregmans, Seiya Suzuki's, Ian Happ's, Dansby Swanson, start to
out the door.
Push those guys out of here, man. I mean, listen, guys, not only have they not been great, you've seen what they offer. This is the team the Cubs put together to try to win a World Series. It's not working. You've seen that these guys are not good enough to do it. On top of that, they're all basically in their 30s. What's the point of keeping those guys here? I'd say trade Imanaga, trade Colin Ray, trade any. The only guys that should be here are the guys with youth on their side. Jackson Wiggins, Cade Horton, Riley Martin, those 2 pitchers you just talked about on the screen there, Sean McGuire and Wing. And all those young position players you have, the only thing is you probably got to add a couple more, because I think their farm system right now is a little bit thinner than it was a couple of years ago. Obviously, probably more talent, because the guys that they had the farm system a couple of years ago are here and it's not working out. So obviously they're not the guys they thought they were outside of PCA. But I say you double down on the farm system, man. Go trade whatever you got. That's what you can get any talent back for this year. Trade them all at the deadline and focus on 2028 after the lockout. That's what the Cubs should be doing they should be doing exactly what the White Sox are doing, John. That's what they should be doing.
And just to back up Kyle's point about Owen Ayers, since he was promoted on April 21st, his first 137 plate appearances in Knoxville. Batting average is a little low, 227. 365, 491. He does have 8 home runs, though, 12 extra base hits. He has an 856 OPS, a 131 WRC. And this scout wrote, with the tools to dream of behind the plate, outside of Pedro Ramirez, nobody has a more elevated profile in the Cubs farm system than Owen Ayers. Owen Ayers, I'm with you, Kyle. He's smooth. He's fast-paced. He catches the pitch at the plate with extension. I did a little deeper dive into him, and I'm just reading my notes of what I wrote. He holds the ball very well and frames it very well behind the plate, guys. There's a lot of film if you YouTube it, if you guys are nerds like us and you want to see this kind of stuff. There's film YouTube of him and how he catches the ball and how he frames it and how he moves it. This kid, I'm with you 100%, Kyle. This is your catcher of the future. This might be your catcher in 2027 after the lockout, 2028, whenever baseball returns. But this Owen Ayers kid is he he's money, dude. He's money, and I'm very excited.
And I there's 3 guys on that list, Sean. A lot of these guys, obviously you guys understand a prospect. You never know what you're going to get, but there's 3 guys on that list, and you could probably throw Pedro Ramirez. Kevin Alcantara to me is just he seems like he's a little streaky, and we've seen.
I didn't even put Alcantara on this list, man. Unfortunately, I didn't.
You did. You put him at 7.
Oh, I did put him on here. I did put him on,
but
I probably shouldn't have.
Kevin Alcantara to me, he just has some of the same flaws that the guys on the current roster have. Like he's very streaky, and even in minor leagues. I'm not talking about the 4 at bats he's gotten since he's been here, guys. I'm talking about in the minor leagues. Yeah, the strikeout percentage is too high, and to me, right now, that's kind of what you're dealing with these guys on the roster. Like that's what Swanson is dealing with. That's what. Look at Ian Happ. Everybody loves Ian Happ. The guy's got a career 240 batting average. And you know what? I think Happ is probably their biggest trade piece. I know Parker put in the chat there, Happ and Suzuki both have full no trade clauses. But you guys, if the Cubs were like, hey, Dodgers, do you guys want one more bat for the playoffs this year? I cannot imagine that Happ's like, I don't want to go to the Dodgers and win a World Series. I'm pretty sure he'd waive that no trade clause. I'm almost positive he would waive that immediately to go to the championship pedigree team like the Dodgers. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Erica here. I think what you do is you fire Jed, you fire Hawkins, get a manager, a new GM in here to trade some of these guys away, Happ, Suzuki, whoever you decide is not part of the future here. Get younger, do exactly what. Look at how quick the White Sox did the rebuild, guys. It took them 2 years, and now they're a borderline fringe playoff team. It's going to be in a span of 3 years. The White Sox will have completely rebuilt that team because there's still a ton of talent in the White Sox farm system. The Cubs could do the same thing. You found out you know who PCA is, and listen, you guys, PCA is probably always going to be semi-streaky. I think but he will get better because he's young. But he's probably going to be a streaky in his career. He's at the plate. He's probably going to be a little bit streaky, but he's certainly good enough to build a team around. He's a star. If you talk about his play in the outfield, I mean, he wins above replacement. He's going to be one of the best in baseball again this year. The more consistency you see that stuff, like he's one of the best WARs in baseball, That's who he is. At the end of the day, that's who he is. You can't be like, oh, he's overrated. I think that's just a flash in the pan. Like, you guys, if he's doing it for 2 years straight when he has one of the best WARs in baseball, but that's probably who he is. You can even Michael Busch. I like Michael Busch. Michael Busch is still young. That's a guy you could put there. You can keep there at first base. Nico, I would keep Nico Horner here to be that players coach type of guy. That guy who, like, Sean, he should. I
don't want Nico Horner to ever leave the Cubs, man.
Like if the Cubs rebuild this team and it's all young, Nico Horner, I'd be fine with Nico Horner being like the oldest guy on the team. I would be fine with that. I would be absolutely fine with Nico being here at 32 while everybody else is 26, 27. I'd be fine with that because I think Nico contributes in a lot of different ways, not just defensively and obviously the most consistent hitter on this team, but I think he's a good dude. I think he's a good dude to have in the locker room. But you guys, I think we're at the point now, and I know Cubs fans don't want to hear this. I know they don't want to hear this. And Scott, I agree with you 100%. I wish we could fire Ricketts. Obviously, that's not. But I think we're at the point now where you probably have to look yourself in the mirror, admit to your faults, and restart this thing again. And that list you just had on the screen there, Sean, rely on those guys to maybe, hopefully, that you add a couple more to that list, and you can win a World Series with those guys, because the guys here just ain't it. They're not it. And Sean, those are your top 10, obviously, and I like the list a lot. I hope mine would not be far off, but there's more down there too.
There's more
down. Yeah, there's more down there too. James Triantos on that list? He's had a week. He's been on the last week.
BJ Murray. I didn't put them on there.
Yeah, I'm not saying you should have. I agree with your list 100%, but it's just because obviously, Sean, you don't want to have 700 names on the screen, but there's a lot more than that down there too. The Cubs are still in a position. That's what I'm saying, you guys. I don't think it'd be a 5-year rebuild. They're still in a position where they still have a ton of talent in that farm system, a ton. And I think guys like Ethan Conrad has potential star power. I think Hartshorn has potential star power. I think Jefferson Rojas has potential star power. Here's the problem. Here's what the Cubs are going to do, because they're stupid and they always do everything wrong. This is what's going to happen. What's going to happen is we're going to keep these dinosaurs like Alex Bregman on the team, and we're going to re-sign Ian Happ in left field because he's the Cubs' favorite, the fan base's favorite player. God. And they're going to put him back in left field. And then all those young studs, or 23, 24, 25 years old that we're talking about, that have star power, potential star power, that could be like franchise altering players, they're all going to be gone.
Yeah,
they'll be all the old guys. Yep, and they're going to be somewhere else, and we're going to put that same lineup out there every day for the next 5 years: Bregman, Happ, Suzuki, and hope that one day everything just turns around and we win a World Series, because the Cubs are dumb. And instead of it's another thing we've talked about with Greg Council. I think Jed Hoyer is the same as Greg Council. I think he's obsessed with these guys, and I don't know why. Why do you love Ian Happ so much? Why do you love Seiya Suzuki so much? They've shown you who they are, just like we talked about with PCA and his WAR numbers. You guys, Seiya Suzuki, if you look at his career, accept the fact that he is just the streakiest hitter in all of baseball. That is who he is. That is now his identity. This isn't like Suzuki's one of the top 5 hitters in baseball. He's just going through some tough times. No, he's one of the best hitters in baseball one month, and the next month he's one of the worst. That's just who he is. He's inconsistent. That's Seiya Suzuki, and he's absolutely terrible in the outfield. He's an average base runner. Ian Happ, as much as all Cubs fans love him, he's the longest tenured Cub. He's on the top home run list. He's on the top games played list. At the end of the day, he's a 240 hitter. That's what he is. And he's never going to be a 30 home run guy. That's never going to happen. He's always going to be somewhere in the 20s. Ian Happ would look a lot better somewhere else. I think the Cubs need to focus on flipping this roster again. But at least I could say this, and I hope Jed Hoyer is not the one who does it, but at least I could say this. At least the Cubs, Sean, now have themselves in a position where it won't take that long to flip because of the guys you just put on the screen.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the farm system that you just showed, Sean, the prospects you just showed, I think that's a better list than they had 3 years ago when the guys were, when it was Matt Shaw and PCA and Calvin Alcantara. And I think we're seeing what those guys are. Outside of PCA, I could pretty much do without the rest of them. And listen, I like Matt Shaw a lot, but if you guys aren't going to give him position, if you're not going to give him somewhere to play on this team, then what's the point of him? You're just wasting his talent. And I don't know if you guys heard the recent interview with Matt Shaw when they were talking to him about his injury, but he doesn't sound happy about being a part-time player by any means necessary. He literally said in the interview, yeah, I mean, I don't play that much. So it's not like the injury is going to hamper this entire organization. Like, that is sad. That to me is sad. And Sean, you know that we heard Cam Smith from the Houston Astros in an interview say, I'm glad I'm no longer a part of the Cubs organization, because if I was, I probably would have never have made the major league roster. They don't like bringing up their prospects. How embarrassing is that? What a detriment to this organization. The guys are leaving here and going, thank God I got out of Chicago. It's depressing.
We unfortunately I am running out of time. Really quick, because I've been doing this. We're going to pick these games really quick, but I do want to get to something.
Here we go.
You know where I'm going.
You're not going to like this, guys.
You know where I'm going. We're going to turn this ship around and make it happy and watch a quick video. I'll be right back, but check this out.
Think about this. Let's put this into perspective. More wins than any other team in the Big 12 in the last 2 years. Over that same time frame, we have the 7th most wins in the country. We have the back-to-back Big 12 Coach of the Year and Dan Fitzgerald and an incredible staff with him. We have Hoagland Ballpark filled to the brim, rocking every evening with a rabid environment supporting the young men in this program. Our potential here in this baseball program is exceptional. Like everything at the University of Kansas.
Kansas coach Dan Fitzgerald.
People are talking about Kansas baseball across the country.
Fitz Magic alive and well in Lawrence.
Such a vested interest in the community in Jayhawk Nation.
The Kansas Jayhawks have a real chance of going to Omaha, okay?
This has been the biggest baseball season, I'm going to say, probably in Kansas history.
The Kansas Jayhawks are Big 12 champions.
I'm actually kind of glad you showed that, Sean. I know all these people in the chat are probably not Jayhawks fans, but just you see, and Erica says, hell yeah, Jayhawks, but you see the energy. You see, did you see the manager run into that middle of that pile and that rah moment? He's like pumping them all up. Like, that's what I'm talking. I'm so glad you showed that video, because I know they're college kids, guys, and you're always going to have the college kids are always going to wear their emotions on their sleeve. That we've seen that their hearts on their sleeve. We've seen it 1,000 times. But how is there none of that in this Cubs organization? None. Zero. I don't see any of that. Nobody's having fun at all here.
I'll take Dan Fitzgerald. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would be happy. I mean, with all what the numbers that they just put in that video, the seven most wins in the country and back to back. Please, please.
He's turned this around, man. And we got our stud Dominic Vogel on the hill tonight, dude. 117 strikeouts, 13th nationally in strikeouts, 11.4 Ks per 9 innings, behind 34 walks. He's only 21 strikeouts away from the school record at 307, taking that from TJ Waltz, who had it from 2008 to 2011. We get a chance tonight to get one game away from making it to Omaha in the College World Series. I am so ecstatic for the boys. I hope they can pull it off. Tyson LeBlanc and the boys are going to be active. The Hogue is going to be.
And Sean, maybe if you hire Fitzgerald, he can bring some of those guys with.
He can bring some winners with him.
Yeah, bring some of those pitchers here.
Hey Bruce, we gotta fly through this because I have to get on the road.
For sure.
Where is this? I don't even know that I want to do this anymore because it's gotten so goddamn pathetic.
Yeah.
So this is what we got. We got Cabrera getting rocked yesterday. We got Ben Brown and Landon Romp on the hill, followed by Tyone and Trevor McDonald. I'm going 1-1 with the Cubs here.
1-1. Yeah.
You're going to notice a pattern how I pick these Cubs wins here, guys. You're going to notice a little bit of a pattern. I'll go 1-1.
1-1 too.
I'm going 1-1 here, and then we're going to flip the script. We'll have a day off Monday before we head to Mile High and head out to Colorado. You got Shota.
I think game 2 is actually Ray, isn't it?
Not as of this morning.
Yeah, because Edward Cabrera pitched yesterday, and he's coming off an injury. I thought it was Ray. Maybe I'm wrong.
Hold on. This would actually be Wednesday. Right now they have Cabrera. Right now in the rotation, it's listed as Cabrera versus Lorenzen. So that could very well change because Colin Ray is not in the rotation over the next week.
Another huge mistake. Whatever. I'll take one win then. If Colin Ray was here, I'd say maybe they have a chance at 2. But I'll go. You guys, the pattern you're gonna notice is I just picked Ben Brown to win. Everybody else sucks. So I'll go 1-2.
Bruce.
2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Bruce, you're going to be 2-1. I'm going 1-2 as well. I don't have a lot of faith in this ball club right now. They seem to like losing to teams under 500. And Matthew Boyd makes his return to the bump when they go to Oracle in San Francisco out in the Bay. They will start a series Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I am going to pick the Cubs to lose that one as well.
Yeah, same.
If it's not in Wrigley, it's a loss.
Yeah, I'll take 0-1. Yeah, that's a
loss. I'm sorry, guys. My daughter has a Erica. Erica's got 1-2 against the Rockies.
She had 1-1 for the Giant series this week or today, and then she had 1-2 against the Rockies. They were 2-1 if Ray pitches, but it sounds like Ray's not going to pitch. It was another disaster.
Yeah, and you know what? It could be wrong. It could be wrong. They changed up this rotation the other day, and flipped it on its head, so they could change it up. But I just went off of what was on the Cubs. I went on the Cubs schedule, and that's what they had. So that's
Sean. She picked them to lose that Giants game 2 in San Fran.
I have her at what you have.
She has 1-1 for this Giant series we're currently in. Then 1-2. Then 1-2 against the Rockies, and then the Cubs to get swept against the Giants in San Fran.
I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to wait and see how they play in Colorado. Maybe they'll come out of it a little bit and head and.
And that's what talks about baseball. It's going to make us look stupid at some point. The Cubs are going to go on they're going to win 18 of 22, and we're going to be like, oh man, should the Cubs buy it? It's just this season is infuriating.
Hey, you want to know what's great though? Tonight I have a chance at 5:00 to watch my boys get one game away from going to the College World Series. Let's go Jayhawks. I'm wearing it. Rock chalk, baby. We got to do it tonight. Let's go.
Go.
It was such a fun season. That game that they clinched, they were down 5-0 after the 4th. They wound up winning 14-11, but they dropped 6? They scored in the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, man.
Erica's all about it, Sean. She's
Thanks, Erica. I appreciate you, girl. I appreciate you. All right, I got to jam. I got to get on this road. I just put in
you
GPS.
guys really happy with the chat today, man. Northside 9 sticking going a little bit slower than we wanted, but you guys were awesome today. Thank you so much for joining the show. We appreciate you guys. And sorry that the Cubs suck, guys. We're in here. We're in it with you. We're feeling.
We're here for the show to cry on every Saturday at noon. So come cry with us. Hopefully, it won't be such a somber one next year. Jed, love you, buddy. I got to bounce. We got to get on this road. I got to get to Cicero for a big time volleyball tournament. And we'll see y'all on Monday. Hey, guys, all the Bears fans in the chat right now, don't forget Monday, Zach Pearson is going to be on the show. We're going to ask him pointed questions about what he saw at OTAs. He's been live at every single one. If you haven't read his reports, he's very detailed and thorough. I got some questions about Rome. I'm going to ask him some questions about something. My bold prediction of the year, Kyle, you saw it in our group chat today, if you read it, and I'm going to go with that. I'm going to stick with that, and I'll reveal that on Monday when we have Zach Pearson on the show on Monday, because I think the Cubs are going to do something that hasn't happened or the Bears are going to do something that hasn't happened since 2008 in the NFL. I think if Rome can stay healthy, I think it happens. That I will say. But we'll talk about that in 2 days with Zach Pearson right here on 4-Star Chicago Sports. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. The chat, like Kyle said, was phenomenal. Hopefully the Cubs can steal a win. First pitch is in 9 minutes. So if you want to,
Yeah, guys, if there's one guy to watch in the Chicago Cubs outside of PCA, it's Ben Brown. So,
Misery loves company, right, Kyle?
Considering he's still young, if they do rebuild this little 2-year rebuild, he's still going to be there. He's young.
Yep,
He might be their true ace. He might be their true ace. So,
all right, boys, I got to bounce. Love you all.
Peace out.